I'm Nikki Nocera, and welcome to Surface. Surface is high-performance, salon-exclusive hair care that completely respects personal health and the earth. Today I'll be demonstrating our Freedom haircut, which is from our core cutting system, which is our long layers, and Barbara is my model. The way our Freedom haircut works is I'll be working with 4 zones, color-coded to make it a little bit easier on us. Green zone, red zone, blue zone, and black zone. So I'll start in the black zone, taking a section up, shattering it with my razor, and then move through the rest of the black zone, and then take from the black zone and blend that into the green zone with creating progressive layers, leaving the length in the front. Then I'm going to take a 1/2 inch section from the green and the black zone and take that guide and blend it down into the red zone and the blue zone. I've already prepped Barbara's hair I shampooed with our Trinity shampoo and conditioner. Since she has fine hair, and fine hair tends to lack protein, this is going to help we use the amaranth protein that's going to add some protein to her hair and allow her to have some more volume. I also put some of our Babassu oil in through the ends, and our Babassu oil helps moisturize, repair the hair, and it's very lightweight, great for her hair. The Babassu in it melts at 96 degrees, which makes it a penetrating oil. The second it touches your skin and hair, it's taking in all those nutrients, all the additional beneficial properties in the product. Usually I would use our Trinity protein cream as my cutting spray, but today I'm going to do something different with Barbara. Since she wants to have a little bit more fullness in her hair, I'm actually going to use our new Awaken Mist. And what that's going to do is just give moisture to Barbara's hair, because in our consultation she did say that she feels like she needs a little bit more moisture. It's going to add weightless moisture, give thermal protection, detangle, and that amaranth protein is just going to help increase the diameter of her hair. Often we struggle with getting moisture and still being able to have volume, but with this, Barbara will be able to maintain those. Just work that through. So I've already established Barbara's perimeter. I used our Surface swivel shears, 5.5 inch swivel shears. Just giving her a solid perimeter. In the consultation, she said that she wanted to keep as much length as possible. Just add some layers and get some nice volume out of her cut. And notice how I can glide through without ever having to bring my elbow up by using the swivel shear. Now, if Barbara had thicker hair, I actually would go in and just break up that line a little bit at the base, but I don't think we need to do that. But I will demonstrate what you can do if you would like to have a little bit more movement and not as solid of a line at the bottom. You can just go in, pinch a section, come over from the side, carve down on each side, and that's just going to give it a little bit more texture and break up that line at the bottom. But we're keeping that fullness at the bottom for Barbara. Alright. So first we're going to section off to get started with our haircut. I'm going to section off. Now, starting with this as a beginner, it's helpful to get those sections out of the way. As you get to know the haircut, you probably just kind of know where you're going and be able to just take your hair up as you see necessary. But starting out, I recommend parting it and getting the hair out of the way. So I'm going to part out the green zone and start in the black zone. But first I'm going to show you how you can find where the green zone is. I'm going to use 2 of my Surface TK combs. So you just come over on the side where the 2 combs come together. Usually the parietal ridge is where we're going to take a part there. Same thing on the other side, and then come from the front lay it on the top of her head, come to the back, and where that comes together is where the black zone is going to begin. So now using my comb, which is great. The T2 combs are great because the way the end is, it makes for great target parting. just section that hair. Getting that out of the way. My hair already feels so nice with that Awaken mist in it. Smells great too. Our Awaken line is loaded with tons of micro minerals and botanicals that, in addition to creating more fullness in the hair and preventing any hair loss, it also can treat anything that starts at the scalp. Dry scalp, psoriasis, anything of that sort. Our Awaken line is going to be helpful in treating that. Alright, so using my surface clip, I'm just going to clip that out of the way. And then this is pretty much where my black zone is. Through here. And I'm just going to clip away the red zone and the blue zone, just to stay in control of my cut. Alright, so bringing down that black zone, take my first section, which want to make sure that it's no wider than the razor. And let me just share what our how awesome our surface razor is. Amazing size, center of gravity. It has a silica guard, which makes it super flexible and super soft on the hair. You can use it on dry hair, wet hair, curly hair. Amazing razor that's won many awards and everyone's favorite. So, just going to bring this down just to kind of figure out where I want my shortest layer to hit. I'm thinking around the chin. So, just going to come up, shatter that off. Bring up the next section, no wider than the razor blade itself, because if you take too wide of a section, then what's happening is you're over-directing the hair and leaving length in places that you would prefer not to have that. Bring that up. There's my guide. Alright, moving over. There's my guide. Alright. One piece there. There we go. Alright. So now I'm going to just move into the green zone. I've got my guide established. I'm just going to remist the hair, make sure it stays wet. Okay, so now we're going to move into the green zone and make progressive layers going forward. Now the reason I started in the black zone is because typically in the crown is where we all want the most volume. So that's where the shortest pieces of hair are going to be. So working from if I'm right-handed, I'm going to be on Barbara's left side. If you're left-handed, the opposite side. So then you're not pulling hair in directions that you don't need to. So always stand on the left side. And I'm just going to bring up a piece from that black zone. Taking my razor. There's my guide. And I'm just going to shatter, shatter, shatter. Moving forward. Progressive layers. Bring up the next section. Shatter, 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 shatter. It's just great movement and great volume in this haircut. Just see how that razor just glides through. Now, if I want a lot of movement in this haircut with Barbara, I want the layers to be softer. If I wanted a more solid layer, I would go in. I could actually go in with my Surface 5.5 inch or 7-inch swivel shear that we have, and I could come in and just barely open and close and glide that out. But because we want a little more shattered look, we are using the razor today. Alright, shatter, 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 shatter. Alright, almost made it through the green zone. Alright, shatter, shatter, shatter. There we go. Alright, so now that we've got most of that done, I'm just going to take down the blue and the red zone and work my way through those sections, blending it down. Mix a little bit more of that protein mist in. Awaken protein mist. Alright. Taking down the red and the blue zone, but what I'm going to do to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to get this hair out of the way, leaving a 1/2 inch out of the section out of the green zone and the black zone, just as my guide. Keep that out of the way there. Alright, now that I have that, now I don't want to take too much of the hair out of the perimeter of this, so I'm going to go very softly with the layers blending down around Barbara's face. So there's my guide. You see my guide right there? Just going to softly blend it down, and notice my finger rolling away from the hair. And depending on the density of someone's hair, you can decide on how big of a section you can take through each section. With Barbara, I can take a bigger section. Just blending that down, working my way around the head. Vertical sections, standing in front of where I'm cutting. There's my guide. Shatter down, roll my finger. Now if you want to get a little bit more crazy and give the flip out effect or something like that, instead of rolling the finger away and coming down towards the head, you can actually come out like that, is another option. There's my guide, blending down. Working my way around. Just gonna wet the side of her hair a little bit. And this red zone again, so keeping it closer to the very soft through here. And actually, this section, I don't even think I want to really take out much there. All right. So now that that's blended, take down the rest. And just see, you can already see when it's wet, all those layers. What I'm going to do now, work in a little bit of our Jump Mousse. Works with those corn starch and sugar fibers for some extra volume. Just in the crown, I'm going to work that through. And then I'm going to blow dry Barbara's hair, and then we'll be back for the finished work. All right, so now we have Barbara all blown out, and I used the Jump Mousse in the crown. I went in with our Surface TK brushes, round brushes. I used the small one and the large one, lifting at the roots for volume, and then round brushing with the bigger one towards the ends to really round off those layers. It's amazing how much volume she's got out of this cut and just how much movement. Now, I waited on the layers around the face framing. I wanted to use the Surface Swivel Shear for that instead of the razor. So what I'm going to do, and she told me in the consultation that she prefers her bangs not to be cut. She's kind of grown them where she wants them to be. So I'm just going to take down, kind of starting where her bangs are, and coming in with the swivel shear, bringing it down, keeping my elbow down, and just trimming that down, coming out. Just very softly, just to blend down those face framing layers. Coming over to the other side, same thing, coming over, bringing down like this, keeping my elbow down. Actually, come in like this, sorry. Very softly, coming out, like that. And I'd also like to show you just we won't take out much, but just through the crown, I'm just gonna put in some framing layers just for a little extra lift through here. And notice how I'm about to use my razor on dry hair. So what I'm gonna do is bring this up, take a section no bigger than my razor. See where the hair bends? Just go in with the razor and ever so softly push up. Just barely taking, and you see how much hair came out. Some nice internal layers for a little extra lift through the crown. And then over here, find where the bend is. Very softly, and the same thing over here. Go. Layers, I will show you our weaving technique as well. I'm going to do that in her fringe area, just to give a little bit more pieciness in her bangs. So I'm just going to take the razor in, out, in, out, in, out, and then softly come down. Do it one more time, right through here, in, out, and softly shatter that, just to give it a little bit more texture and movement in those bangs. Alright, and to finish off with the styling, just going with our Theory hairspray, which again, those cornstarch and sugar fibers gives a nice hold, a nice flexible, lightweight hold. Awesome volume there. And what's awesome about this hairspray is if Barbara decides she doesn't want as much volume, or she wants to perk it back up later, she can just comb it out, go back in, and just put her hands in there and work and revamp those sugar and cornstarch fibers. Alright, so that's the Freedom haircut. Just to recap, Freedom haircut from our core cutting system. We started in the black zone. We move those, taking those layers up, shattering with the razor, moving all through the black zone, then taking the hair from the black zone and blending it into the green zone with progressive layers. And then we took a 1/2 inch parting from the green and the black and took that section and blended it down to the red and blue. And then at the end we use our 5.5 inch swivel shear to just do some face framing, and then in addition to that we did some internal framing layers and a little bit of weaving in the front. So this is our finished work, the Freedom haircut. I'm Nikki. Thank you for joining me with Surface. Before I send Barbara away, I'm going to just send her with her prescription. And what this has is just a list of all the products that I used on her. We have the Trinity shampoo and conditioner, the Basu oil, the Awaken mist, and then the Theory hairspray and the Jump mousse. So Barbara's going to take that home with her. Take that to the front desk and take all those lovely products home with her so she can continue this amazing cut and style in the luxury of her home.